is the first thing we open up on. Naruto's being tortured. The reason why the villagers finally caught Naruto. And they've gotten tired of Naruto's pranks. They thought they were more than childish. His pranks were only something that a demon would do. Only something that Naruto would do. Let me get inside of a better position because I know you guys can barely hear me. Naruto's being tortured on a stake. Naruto screams out in pain. Why are you doing this? I only painted the houses. I'm sorry. I promise I'll never do this again. I promise. I promise. The villagers then say, "We know you won't do anything like this ever again, 'cause you won't have the chance to." Naruto then says, "Please, please, 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 please. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm too young to die. Please don't do this to me." Villager then says, "We've already tortured you enough. Don't you wish for death? We've chopped off multiple of your limbs, but they're growing back. Only a demon's limbs would grow back. No human can do that. You're far from a god." They then light up the stake that Izuku was put on. Now Izuku starts screaming out in pain. "Please stop! Please, please, please!" An hour after burning from the Nine Tails, giving him constant chakra and trying to regenerate his body, Naruto wakes up inside of a different place. A demon looking like pure evil holds out his hand to Naruto, and he says, "If you give me your soul, I'll give you immeasurable power. I'll make sure they can never hurt you again. At least they can hurt you, but you'll never die. You won't age. You'll stay as young or as old as you want to. You can make yourself as whatever age you want to. You can do anything with your life." He then says, "So tell me, human, would you rather burn at the stake, or will you take my power for your soul?" Naruto then says, "What would be the point of that? If I can't die, then you can't use my soul for anything, right?" The demon then says, "No, that's not exactly true. If a sword or any type of kunai or weapon in general has been given the praise of a god, that can kill you. Just that alone could burn all the skin off of your body and kill you instantly. Or you could stop choosing to live and want to feel something different. When I give you this power, pain will no longer feel the same. No, pain. It will still be painful, but it will be less painful than a human's perspective. So if they want to teach you that you are a demon, why don't you just become one? Why don't you just become what I am asking you to become?" Naruto then says, "Because I don't want to prove them right." He then says, "What about this? if I added an angel's blood to that, will you take up my offer? Naruto then says, why are you trying so hard? I'm just one soul. He then says, no. Souls that contain the nine tails are promised to go to heaven, which means you're worth more than 30 souls combined into one. That's how much you are worth. The only way that they would not be inside of heaven is if you were to already have made a deal with the devil. Those are the rules that I have to follow. I don't really like God telling me what I can and can't do. It's kind of annoying. Naruto then says, okay. Just just promise that I'll immediately go numb. The demon then says, I can't promise that, kid. You're gonna have to suffer through this and die first. For me to take your soul's gonna actually have to be outside of your body. So once you die, your soul will be promised to me. And then you'll get all the power that you want. Naruto then says, okay. And he finishes burning from the stake. Finally, when everybody thinks he's dead, they just throw him into the woods somewhere. They then say, you don't even deserve a proper burial, you demon. No. I'm gonna say it's been a couple of months. No, I'm gonna say it's been a couple of years. When they did this to Naruto, Naruto was only but 9. So, Naruto wakes up at the age that the anime begins. I'm pretty sure that's the age of 12. He gets up and then he says, "Wait, I thought my soul would be in my body sooner. He was teaching me how to use my abilities, but I didn't think it'll take this many years." He then looks at his hands. His hands then glow black. Well, there's a black aura coming off of his hands. He then says, I wonder what you guys are. I forgot. Humans aren't allowed. Well, at least humans on Earth aren't allowed to keep their memory of being inside of the afterlife. It's just something that's not allowed. How come I can remember that, but I can't remember anything else? He doesn't question this anymore because he finds it as irrelevant, and he's most likely not going to find out the answer to his question. Naruto then goes to the academy, and he changes his name. He said, they then ask, who are you? Naruto then says, well, I am. And then he takes a second to think. He says, who am I? What should be my name? And then he says, I know. I am Sika. He says, that's not a Japanese name. Okay. You can go ahead with that name, kid, since I believe you, and I can't really say your name isn't your name, since I don't know you. He then says, why have you come to this village? Sika. Yeah, I'm gonna refer to him as Sika now, since he told them his name is Sika. My bad about that. Sika then says, well, I've transferred to this village because my village was under attack and I needed to survive. You know how it is, right? The guard then thinks and he's like, yeah, I am from another village. How did you know? He then says, you don't really look like the rest of the people here. I've heard the people here are Uchihas, Hyugas, Uzumakis, um, Hatakes. Well, there's one last Hatake left. Namikaze, and those are all the clans that I can really think of. Now, he's taken to the Hokage, and the Hokage then allows him to transfer to the village after a few hours. Naruto, since he's still a child, is given a room, and he says, "Here you go. It's not much, but it'll do for now." He then says, "Okay." Now, Naruto, side of this anime, he was treated a lot worse, so he wasn't given that apartment that he had. He had a smaller apartment that kind of had mold on the walls. Everyone hated him. So to get the original apartment that he had inside the anime just makes him so happy. Now, Naruto then goes to sleep and wakes up the next day. Now, of course, he goes to ninja school and introduces himself. He says, "Hi, I'm Sika." Now, sorry, I just kept on calling him Naruto. I'm gonna call him either one. Just know they're the same person. So Sika goes to his seat and he waits for the teacher to ask for the shadow clone jutsu. Now, the clone jutsu. Now, Azuku still doesn't know how to use the clone jutsu. Not Azuku. Sika still doesn't know how to use the clone jutsu, but he uses something different. He says, "Dark clone jutsu," which this is not a jutsu, this is actually a dark art. But he added in clone, so then they'll think it's a jutsu. Now, he's gotten a little bit smarter in the time that he was inside of, hell. All of his memories do transfer over except for, you know, being there. So, So basically, everybody's like, "Wow, it looks so real. Is that even an illusion?" And not Naruto. Yeah, I'm going to say Naruto. Naruto then says, "Well, it kinda is, but it's a clone. This type of clone, it's different. It's my village's style." He then asks, "What is your village?" And then he says, um, "Hatsanabe." They then say, "I've never heard of that village." Now he says it's a new village. There were basically two different clans that merged together and made one village. Well, the child was forsaken since it was from two different villages, and it got with another person from another clan, which made their kids more powerful, and it went on. We use we use dark jutsus, or at least what we call dark jutsus. That's our genkai. Now, the clone, when you disperse it, and then he stabs the clone, and then the clone starts releasing dark dark chakra onto him. He says, for a normal human, they would either burn, their organs would give out, or they would just simply explode from this. Either one of those. He then says, basically, the point of it is, if you break the clone, you're dead. If you don't break the clone, you're dead. So, yeah, you could kill them from distance, but if you even get close to that, it does kind of have a mind of its own, so it can whip at you and kill you. Now, Naruto then goes back to his seat, and then he says, "So that's my jutsu." Now, they then go outside for training, and Naruto hits all marks, like straight, like it's straight up exactly aligned, not just near the middle, or like on the middle, but like kind of off. just by the right a little bit. It's exactly all three of them are exactly on the target. Now, this is better than Sasuke's, which then they go to sparring after doing shuriken, kunai, and battle training. Well, now it's battle training. And Sasuke then says, I'll take the new kid. He then puts up his sword and then he says, You're really strong, new kid. Let's see how your Genkai does against does against me. He then says, Okay, I guess. And then Sasuke goes flying towards Naruto, which Naruto kicks him off balance and then flips him around. And then Sasuke lands with his back, knocking all the wind out of him. Like, Naruto really folded his shit. And Sasuke is just on the ground, wheezing for air. And Naruto's like, You gonna get back up? Or what's going on here? Now, Sasuke's kind of offended by this and then hits the ground. And then Sasuke starts charging at him with the real kunai. And the teacher says, Sasuke, you know that's not allowed. And then Naruto says, Don't worry about it. I had to do these type of fights while I was walking here. Now he's just swinging at him and swinging and swinging, which he's missing, of course. But then he actually ends up stabbing Naruto's cheek, which instead of a fit of rage, he's smiling. But then all of a sudden, his his um his cheek then starts to heal. Now Naruto then says, That wasn't very nice, was it, Sasuke Uchiha? And then he throws him into the air, jumps up to that exact height, and remember, ninjas can jump up extremely high, but they're stronger. Like they can throw higher than they can jump. So he throws as high as he possibly can, which isn't high enough to like kill a ninja, but it is high enough to like injure them. And then he jumps to that height and then kicks him down, which Sasuke hits the ground. And then Naruto just comes up from above him and then slams his feet into his chest, knocking Sasuke out. And then Aruka's like, he needs some help. And he basically says Naruto wins against Sasuke Uchiha. Which then the bullies try to recruit him, but he says, Nah, I don't roll with bullies. So they try to fight him and they get their shit rocked hard. Like, sorry about that. For all the people that said bless you, thank you. Now, they got their shit rocked hard. And Aruka puts up Naruto to getting the scroll of sealing, which he knows Aruka's gonna try and steal. But he still learns the Shadow Clone Jutsu. And he learns one other jutsu. He learns the Flying Raiji. Now this is useful for his skill. This is useful for his type of skill because Naruto's type of fighting style is surprise, like head-on surprise. So nobody would really expect a Shadow Clone to bust out into purple darkness and then it can eat you alive. Now Naruto then when he learns these jutsus get a giant shuriken thrown at him. And then Aruka jumps in front of him, which Naruto's like, I ain't even gonna allow him to get hurt. And then he slaps away the shuriken. And the thing was, when he slapped it away, Aruka saw and Mizuki. And he slapped it away on the sharp side, which didn't even hurt him. And he knocks out Aruka. And Mizuki is basically like, What are you? There's no way you could slap away a demon wind shuriken like that and live to tell about it. Especially on the sharp side that it hit you. Azuka then looks at him and then he says, "Wow, that's cute. You really think I'm still human?" Then he says, "What? Stop being ridiculous. You are a human." And then he smiles at him and then he says, "Am I? Am I really?" And then he transforms into this. Now, this doesn't look scary, except for when it's nighttime. Like his eyes glow red, and the outside of his eyes are black. He then smiles at Mizuki, and then he says, "It's time to die." And then Mizuki screams out inside of fear and pain because Izuku teleported in front of him and then freaking started ripping off his limbs. The next day, let me get to freaking fuck. Let me get to this shit. Scroll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily. Life is not a dream. Okay. Basically, as I was trying to say, Azuku is back inside of this mode. His eyes aren't glowing, by the way, but they are blue. And he says, I don't know why, but somehow he died. I don't know what really happened to him. Maybe he had some type of disease that made his limbs kind of detachable. But he did go out that way, and I don't know why. Which nobody believes. They're like, people's limbs don't just come off. But they're like, okay. We're ranking you up to a Chunin because you just killed a Chunin. And a high ranked one at that. Like, dang, like, you are a Chunin now. Like, you were a low level Chunin, but you're still a Chunin. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. If you guys enjoyed, then hit the like button and subscribe. 100 subscribers by the end of the week. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.